Hello, all of you fabulous fans of Anti-Life Reviews. This is issue 91 of the aforementioned show, and you're listening to, of course, the Tona Makaya, Master of Minds and of Men. We're nearing the end of Uncanny X-Force Volume 1. So today we're looking at issues 19 through 24, which ran from December 2011 to April 2012, of course, published by House of Mouse Teat Marvel Comics. So let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, and I can get right into the comics. Writer's an artist on this. The writer is Rick Remender. Not only has he worked on the Avengers, Captain America, and Bruce Campbell comics, but he's also wrote on EA's Dead Space video game and kept himself busy doing creator-owned work with Image Comics to much success, including movies and TV shows based on his work. Artists on this, 19, we got Robbie Rodriguez, a very talented, stylized artist who has worked on a lot of Spider-Gwen. 19.1, we got Billy Tan, a timely artist whose style fits with the ever-changing crop of artists on this comic. Worked on Green Lantern for quite a bit. From 20 to 23, we got Greg Tocchini. Him and Robbie share a similar style, but Greg is a little more photorealistic in a lot of ways. I've heard good things about Low, a comic he worked on. And for issue 24, we got Phil Noto. He's worked with Matt Wagner, Alan Moore, and Darwin Cook, so we know he's got some talent. Alright, issue 19.1 is literally just an advertisement for the then upcoming Age of Apocalypse ongoing comic, so I'm not going to go over that. Our team is, well, we don't really know. It was previously Angel, Wolverine, Psylocke, Phantom X, and Deadpool, but we last left Angel not knowing who he is. There are a bunch of Age of Apocalypse heroes hanging around, so they might stay, and Evan, the Child Apocalypse, is there too. The Age of Apocalypse crew are leaving, some of them, with Jean and Wolverine having had a bit of an affair, so their goodbyes are emotional. But AOA Nightcrawler wants to stay behind to take care of the bad guys from their world who came through. Wolverine gave Sabretooth a sword as a peace offering, and they head off. Phantom X and Wolverine discuss Evan, with Phantom X saying he wanted to prove a nature versus nurture quandary, having kept the boy in a virtual reality farm where he was raised by kindly people and trained to be a hero. They decide to give the boy off to the Xavier School, which is now the Jean Grey School, with Beast and Kitty Pryde not thrilled that not only was X-Force, a hit squad, kept secret from them, but so was a clone of Apocalypse, but they agreed to house the boy and train him properly. Warren and Betsy can't have a relationship, as he is not who he was, and Phantom X is then arrested by the multiversal Captain Britain Corps. Brian Braddock, Captain Britain and Betsy's brother, has also kidnapped her. So we have Phantom X being arrested, and then we see the Captain Britain Corps is in a perpetual war with magical forces for the multiverse. Brian wants Betsy to help him fight the war, and then go to Phantom X's trial, which is because he killed the Apocalypse Kid. Okay. Obviously, he's found guilty, of which the sentence is death. Deadpool, Nightcrawler, Wolverine are getting drunk when they find out their friends have been taken to Otherworld, so they head there and find themselves in clash with an evil mage. Betsy rescues Phantom X, though he is in a state of multiversal death, so she takes him to a magical guy to be resurrected that she probably shouldn't do. The team fights off the evil wizard, with Nightcrawler being the MVP, and they run across Megan, an old Excalibur teammate of 616 Nightcrawler. And we see the wizard has the Skinless Man on his side, who I mentioned last video, who is a member of the Weapon Plus program like Wolverine, Deadpool, and Phantom X. Thanks to a Nightcrawler pep talk, the X-Team decide to take it to the wizard. Deadpool and Wolverine go directly to him while Megan and Nightcrawler fight on the front lines. Phantom X and Betsy have one of their semi-romantic, semi-philosophical conversations about why she continues to help him, culminating in an encounter with the Skinless Man, who we get the backstory of. He was a mutant with elastic skin, whose father was not his father, the guy from the Weapon Plus program. The usual stuff happened there, experiments, and he was sent to Otherworld to steal an orb of necromancy, but Phantom X made sure that didn't happen, and the Skinless Man was sentenced to, well, having his skin removed, which, of course, Phantom X used to make into bullets we saw him use to no avail against Archangel last week. The Skinless Man then cuts off Phantom X's face. The X-Team and the Captain Britain Corps fight the Wizard army while Phantom X is tortured by the Skinless Man, but they work together and escape. The Skinless Man gets away as well, and, Phantom X and Betsy decide to go help with the battle, with Betsy quickly figuring out the Wizard is her brother Jamie from the future where he was corrupted. Brian is with the current Jamie, but he refuses to kill his brother, so Betsy takes hold of his mind and snaps Jamie's neck. Brian says they could have found another way, but she says billions were at risk and it's okay. You got to keep your hands clean while I do the dirty work, essentially. Back in regular reality, the X-Team hunt down the Age of Apocalypse Iceman, who loves hookers. Deadpool, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine are on it. Wade and Wolverine are taken out, so it's down to the former allies. And after a rather emotional battle, Nightcrawler puts Iceman in a fucking furnace to kill him. Like, Jesus. In Otherworld, a funeral for Jamie Braddock is held, with Brian being quite sour about it, Betsy being defiantly unapologetic, and Phantom X feeling some level of sorrow for it. Sometime later, Phantom X and Betsy share a kiss and more to end this arc. So that was the penultimate issues of the Uncanny X-Force, covering the Otherworld saga and some other things. What do I think? The writing wasn't actually bad at all, honestly. Not as bad as Deathlock Nation. There's a lot going on here, a lot of moving storylines. The team acclimating with their new Nightcrawler, which helps lead into a rather good scene where he motivates Wolverine to help the people of Otherworld instead of leaving. That in his world, they did everything to leave no person behind. The battle with Otherworld was alright, though not really super fleshed out. It had some neat concepts of time travel and magic. And we got some throwbacks to Excalibur, which I liked. I was a fan of that series. Of course, seeing Captain Britain in his core was cool, but ultimately it was kind of boring and a little bit confusing. Like, why did the Captain Britain core care about Phantom X killing the Child Apocalypse? Does this in some way affect the multiverse? No, not really at all. And it's never properly explained why this is their justification and not of like literally anyone else. Is not explained why he is their responsibility. It's not said. Not to, like, do they just arrest anybody who kills a kid, or does it have to be how many times has Apocalypse been killed? Are they going to arrest Cyclops? Are they going to arrest Cable? That doesn't make any sense. Besides Brian Braddock being sour, his sister was part of it. How is this any of their business? Aren't they literally fighting a war in which millions are dying every second of time? Which Doctor Who's Time War says hello. But to be bothered with this one guy, I'm not going to get into the moral quandary of killing a child who will become evil. That's not my place. But it's also not theirs, nor has it ever been. I think we also lose something with Betsy using Brian to kill Jamie. I think it would have been far more impactful if Brian did it, understanding that Phantom X, what he was going through when he had to kill the Apocalypse Child. We don't need Betsy to understand him anymore. She gets it. She's already into him. We're past the point where we need more of her fawning over Phantom X or relating to him. She's not all that compelling at this point, to be frank. She comes off as petty to her brother, who was, besides the stupidity of the Phantom X thing, trying to help her come back into the family. She could have walked away, knowing Brian had to do it. A little more smug and satisfaction that, now he knows it isn't an easy decision to make. Now, it's not all bashing. He has a real knack for writing these people, Rick does, as companions, as people who even begrudgingly have to hang out together. We get Deadpool, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine hanging out, getting drunk, talking about things as real people, discussing differences. Deadpool comes off, as you know, a goofy, but as someone who they can talk to, relate to, bond with. Wolverine remains consistently written, probably the most consistently written person in this whole series, which is good. AOA Nightcrawler, they present him as kind of a cocky, he's an atheist. He's marked a difference from 616 Nightcrawler, who is, of course, dead. His stuff with Crawler facing down Iceman was great. I mentioned they had an emotional showdown. That was my favorite part of this series of issues. Just him telling his friend, this is it, betrayal is beyond all. He would have torn the world apart for him. And then he dumps him in a furnace. It was really cool. We get some good stuff from Phantom X here, with him telling Evan to go to his room so him and Wolverine can discuss his future. He says Dad has been drinking, because Wolverine, of course, loves the drink. We also see some fire in Phantom X in a brief stuff with the Skinless Man. Tells him he's going to make him beg. A kind of funny moment is he gets his face cut off, but then he gets it back and he slaps it on and puts his mask over it. Like, that'll hold. His stuff about Evan, the nature versus nurture stuff, how he wanted to see if he could do it. He could turn this potentially immortal evil to not be the VR that Evan lived in, a farm. Smacks of Clark Kent, of course, which I love that part. And Phantom X as his Uncle Cluster, who drives a pickup truck, but still has an inexplicable French accent and wears his mask, was a really nice touch. So the writing was, I think, as good as you're going to get for this kind of story. It just didn't grab me, but it wasn't quite as annoying as Deathlock Nation, but not ultimately all that interesting. The art, I'll talk about the bad first. Robbie Rodriguez, who did issue 19, I thought it was bad. It was overly cartoony. Everyone looked like Johnny Bravo. Just didn't work for me. But you know what? I would have taken it over Greg Tocchini's 20 to 33, which was awful, blurry, sketchy, really thick lines. The backgrounds are a mess of color with nothing in them. Everything looks like unfinished watercolor paintings. The models were way off. The faces especially. Everyone looks like they were getting invaded by the worms from Slither. It took me so far out of this sword and magic story, and that could have been why I didn't get sucked into it. Maybe the writing was better than I'm giving it credit for, and it was just the art that was bad. Everything was vague blobs, you know. But Phil Noto at 24, great, we're back to form. Looks like the book should look. Everybody is back on model. You know, I don't even know how good it was actually because I'm comparing it to the crap I saw before. So it looked amazing to me. But I didn't go back and look at the older issues to know if it was on par. It did great with all the cheesecake he drew, of which there was in that issue in spades. Beyond that, Angel was sort of a non-issue here. He has this new white costume, which is stupid, and I think Nightcrawler is a better character anyways. So, a good trade-out. Overall, ultimately, I think the art hurt this one a lot. Like a lot. Because going back, I guess I didn't hate the story. I think if we had gotten more compelling visuals, it would have landed for me. It had a lot of things that I liked, but it felt off, and I can't shake the reasons because of the art. Rick's writing has some bumps. That's nothing he doesn't usually have. He's an excitable writer. Like I've said, he loves to throw out ideas, and I feel like his mind is always working. His love of comics, turning and molding things constantly. As far as set up for the end game, I didn't get that feeling, but we will see where everything goes. So yeah, the second weakest story thus far. Well, that was week 4 of Uncanny X-Force, covering Otherworld and some other various things. Who is your favorite Age of Apocalypse variant? Let me know down below. Don't forget my Patreon, where you can support this channel for just a buck. Add me on Instagram for daily Twin Peaks memes under Demon Peaks. Check out my slightly currently on hiatus podcast, Dark Peaks Podcast. And of course, subscribe. Come back next week where we finish off the Uncanny X-Force saga with what sounds like a Schwarzenegger film, The Final Execution. This has been the Eternal Micaiah, Master of Minds and Men. Thank you very much, and goodbye.